Hello, everybody. Tina Hogan Grant here with my regular Cuppa A Natter that I do twice a month on Mondays. I like to bring authors into my home and we talk about books, writing, reading, life as an author. And tonight, Lucinda Berry is joining me from California.
Yes, yes.
I didn't know you were from California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been here almost 15 years now.
50. Where did you live before that?
So I'm originally from Minnesota.
Okay.
So born and raised there, did undergrad there, and then I lived way down south in Mississippi. So because I did graduate school down there, so I was there for a little over 5 years. And now I've been out here, out west, for almost 15. So way north, way south, way west.
You have been around. And how do you like California?
I love it. The cost of living is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about gas prices before we got on and how insane they are. It took me $70 to fill up my tank today. But I love the weather. I'm a huge I snowboard, I surf, I'm a runner, I'm a biker. So I am always outside.
You're
So this is the
athletic.
place. Yeah.
You
I
are.
ran
Where
10
do you go
marathons. Snowboarding, yeah.
Where do you go snowboarding?
So snowboarding, I go a lot to Big Bear, and because it's close and easy and you can do it in a day. And then my kiddo, I have a teenage son, and so we do a lot of mountain high, which is super close. It's like an hour and like 15, 20-minute drive. And so we're there, boom, we can, do just a half day and come back home. So yeah.
Oh, we get
Yeah.
snow up here in Fraser Park. We're about an hour and a half away from you. So if you ever want to see the snow, you're welcome.
You get snow?
We get snow. Yes.
I did not know
They got
that.
snow
Okay.
in, last year for 5 days, which I love. I love the snow. So I like where I live because we get all 4 seasons. I'm about an hour and a half away from where you are.
Okay.
But I do love the 4 seasons. I'm about like 5,000 feet elevation. So,
okay.
So we do get the snow. But if you see Fraser Park on the news and they're getting snow, that's us.
That's you. And where are you from originally?
But I'm excited to talk to you tonight. Your latest book, Under Her Care. Let's see that book.
Right here, this beautiful cover.
Gorgeous cover. I love the font.
Isn't it so nice?
Yeah, I love that font. I love the pink. It really pops on the cover. If you can give us a little background on the book without giving too much away. And if it's okay with you, when like halfway through the chat, do you mind if I read the description that's posted on Amazon?
No, not at all.
Great. So I'm going to let you hand it over to you and just tell us a little background on the book.
Okay, so a little background. I just told you that I lived in the South for 5 years. So the book actually takes place in Alabama and starts out with a bang. The mayor's wife is found murdered under a bridge, and there's a 16-year-old boy standing next to the body. And that's when the trouble starts. The 16-year-old boy has autism, so he's nonverbal. So getting a statement from him is difficult. It's full of small town life, secrets, all of that. And it's told from the 2 different point of views. So it's told from the mother of the boy standing next to the body. The boy's name is Mason. The mom's name is Genevieve. And so one of the point of views is hers. And then the other point of view is Casey Walker. And Casey Walker is the consultant that's called in on the case. She's a developmental psychologist specializing in autism and neurodevelopmental disorders. And so they call her in, obviously, because the boy is nonverbal and she has expertise in that area. So those are the 2 women that are telling the story. And yeah, so it's hard to say much more than that because every chapter you're learning something new. So I can't really say too much without giving it away. But yeah, there's lots of secrets, lots of secrets exposed. The 2 women end up sort of in this game of cat and mouse with each other. Yeah, lots of surprises. It's got the best ending that I've ever written. So I'm excited for that. One of the biggest criticisms I get is people either love my endings or they hate them, because they are
we can't please everyone.
Yeah. They're very abrupt, and I leave lots of things unanswered. But yeah, so this has like a solid ending.
Okay, and what genre is this categorized?
Domestic suspense, psychological thriller.
Pretty much all your books in that genre?
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yes.
You've written a lot of books. How many books have you written?
I have. So this is my 8th. This is my 8th. It's my 5th book with Thomas and Mercer.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And before you became a writer, you were a psychologist?
Yes.
And
yes.
I've read your bio. And leading research for childhood trauma.
Yes. So that's, yeah. So I had a very different life before this. So that's how I ended up in Los Angeles. Actually, was to work at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. So I am a psychologist myself, and my specialization is child trauma. So almost all of my books are sort of loosely based on real things that I've seen or experienced or a psychological phenomenon. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You to change careers from, what you were doing to becoming a full-time author and a bestseller at that too. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been about 3 years since I sort of took the plunge and started writing full time. My last 4 years, I was at UCLA at the National Center for Child Traumatic Stress. I was one of the assistant directors there. So, and my first couple books I actually self-published because it was just sort of a hobby for me on the side, and they did very well. And I signed a 2-book deal, and signing that deal just happened to coincide with me finishing a really big project for the Department of Defense. That was a big, it was a big grant. It was like 50% of my salary. And so when my big bosses called me in to say, what do you want to get your hands in next? Like, what do you think you want to do? You want to go back to juvenile justice? You want to, foster care hub? And I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to try writing for a while. So yeah, and that was 3 years ago. And
3 years.
Yeah. So
wow, congrats! You've moved fast, and it's been successful so far. I mean,
yeah, it's done really, really well. I've had a couple books be optioned for film. My stuff's been translated into, I think, 14 different languages now. Wow. So yeah.
That's right. Now, when you say they're opted to film, do they just have the rights now? Or are they actually going into production and going to
writing a script? We're not in production on anything, but yeah, we're steps further than just.
How exciting!
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Film's a whole different.
Can you say which books are opted for film? Or you're not
The Perfect Child is one of them. That one's well known, and then there's another one that I can't say yet because they always make you keep things secret.
They do. That's right. I don't want you to spill the beans if you're not allowed. I do want to pause for just a minute. We got a lot of people joining us, and I want to say hi to a few people. I'm here with Lucinda Berry. Her latest book is Under Her Care. That's what we're talking about tonight. And if you have any questions for Lucinda, go ahead and put them in the comments. I would do my best to get to as many as I can. We have Karen Wright joining us, Peggy Patterson, Lori Chesco. Hello, ladies. Karen says $70 is ridiculous for your gas.
I agree. I agree.
Rose Ward is here. Robin Jr. Browning. I just want to say hi. Darlene Johnson. Early Hendren. Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us. Mary Jo is here. Sherry Brown. I'm sure you know a few of these people. Rainer is here. And I see a couple of Facebook users, which means you are watching this from my group, which is private. In order for me to see your name, you got to click on the blue link that gives StreamYard permission to see your name. If you're watching from the author page, it's not private. Marcy Joe says, I'm putting some of these comments up for you. I love this.
These are great comments. And some great questions in here too.
I'm going to get down to those too. Let's see if we can find some questions for you. Let's put this one up. This is definitely my kind of book. Mary Jo, Secrets Are a Way of Life. Here's one right here from Lori. What do you like to do when you're not writing?
Ooh, so I am an endurance athlete as well. So I'm actually currently training for an Ironman, which sounds which is it sounds as insane as it is. So I'm a huge runner. I've ran 10 marathons. I just did LA in the fall again.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I'm, I have a 13-year-old son who is my world. I'm a single mom, so most of my time is spent with him. If I'm not out there logging the miles, I'm usually doing something that's in relation.
How many miles is the LA marathon?
So marathons are 26.2 miles.
And what's your best record?
4:11.
Wow. I'm not going to race with you.
I didn't start out that fast. It took a while. So yeah.
Okay. Sherry Brown's asked, if you could choose one of your characters to be, who would you choose?
Sherry, I don't know. I've been asked a lot of questions, and I don't know if anyone's asked me that question before. If I could be one of my characters, who would I choose? Ooh, so one of my early books, Appetite for Innocence. I think I loved the detective in that one, and
What's the name of the book?
It's called Appetite for Innocence, and it's one of my early ones. I think it was 2016 or 2017. But the detective in that one, I loved. I would love to have his job. If I ever went back into the field of psychology, I don't think I would. I think I would be more forensic and more involved in actually getting the bad guys than treating their victims.
Do you do a lot of research for your books because of the subject matter? Is there a lot
of and you'll find, that's what everybody, like every review that I have always says, that my psychological background is evident, because a lot of them, it's a lot of trauma happening to ordinary people and how that affects their lives. And then there's also a lot of, like, my last book was a super obscure, rare, mental illness that probably no one, unless you were in the field of psychology, ever would have even heard of. So
even though these are suspense thrillers, is there also strong messages behind the story for the readers? Do they walk away with a lot more knowledge?
Some of them, yes. I think the one that's probably the most where you're going to walk away with that is Saving Noah, which is about a young sexual offender, told from the perspective of the mother. And that one hits people hard. You definitely walk away from it looking at sexual offenders and pedophilia in particular in a little different way, than
some of these are hard to write too. I mean, as far as the emotional side goes, especially like a sexual offender, that has to be emotions for you.
I think for me, just because I did it for so long, when you work in child trauma, you see just the worst of the worst. And so, you see the worst cases of humanity, really. So I think for me, it's probably not as emotionally gut-wrenching researching and stuff as it might be for somebody else. I think somebody without my background probably would have a harder time with some of the stories that I write.
Yeah. From all the books you've written, you said there's been 8. Is there one that just pops out that you just resonate with? Not with, but just, I don't know, just one of your favorite books, maybe one that just sticks with you? Is there any of them just pop out? Or do you just...
the one that I love, Under Her Care. I know it's my latest one, but I absolutely love it because I feel like, I don't know. I know that you're a writer as well. And so I don't know if you have the similar experience, but I feel like it takes everything that I've learned about writing and my style and what my readers are looking for and what my readers like. And it has an amazing, like, I just feel like it's my best one yet. So I'm very
getting better and better and better.
Yeah, I feel like I really hit my stride, if that makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. You always want the next book to be better than the last.
Yeah, and I feel like I really did that. And some of the early reviews are coming in, and people are agreeing with that. You know,
I can tell by the smile on your face. You're happy with this one.
Yeah, you were like, it's your best yet, and I'm like, yes,
yay!
And then the other one that I'm probably really attached to is my first one, which was Phantom Limb. Okay. And I think it's sort of like your first baby, right? Because it's also the book that you know, took the most time. It took me the longest to write. I went through it so many times. I agonized over it so much.
And then it's out there in the open and you're waiting for that feedback.
Yeah, you know, and so it was my first everything, my first reviews, my first like putting yourself out there, all of it. And so it, you know, it has like a special place in my heart because it's like my firstborn, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You describe it well. It really is. Karen was asking, we know what the genre you write is, suspense thriller. She's asking, would you ever consider writing another genre?
Y'all ask great questions in this group. Goodness. I
have them trained.
They know you well, huh? Would I ever write in another genre? I think that I would, because I've actually written nonfiction, some academic stuff back in the day in my field. And I've thought about this before of, I don't remember what book it was, but one of the reviews was like the feel-good book of the year, right? And I was like, I've never, like, what would it be like to write a book that made people feel good, you know? Because mine is always, you know, I like to make people think. I like to make people I like to take people on a roller coaster ride, right? I like them to feel like they get off it and they're like, oh my God, right? But I'm like, what would it be like if I wrote something that was like heartwarming, you know? So yeah, I think that
like a romance or just a feel-good book, or
just like a feel-good, maybe like family drama that doesn't have any trauma in it, you know, or even if it does it's not as dark or intense, and you know, that it ends in sort of like a happily ever after. Right. I wouldn't say any of my books end happily ever after. And so I think that it would be challenging, and I don't even know what would come out of me if I shifted gears. And
it's hard to shift. It is. My question just went away. Where did it go? All right, we'll go with another one. The genre thing. You do you read what you write, or is there other genres that you don't write that you enjoy reading?
I read within my genre a lot. I don't read in my genre when I'm working on my first draft. Just because I don't like anyone else's voice to get sort of entangled in mine. So if I'm working on a first draft, I really don't read anything in my genre. I read a lot of nonfiction. You know, I'm a psychologist, so I do like a lot, you know, I love a lot of like the self-help stuff and things like that. And, you know, books on mindset and all of that. And then, you know, fitness, you know, like I said, I'm really into fitness. So I read a lot of like fitness stuff. So, but yeah, when I can write, when I'm not writing a first draft, I'm, you know, in my genre. And then now, as I'm sure you know, then you also like, you get the fun part of being an author is you get to read other people's books like before anybody else and blurb them. So I like that.
I enjoy that too.
Isn't it fun?
It is. I really enjoy it a lot. Now, with the authors that you read in your genre, do you have favorites? Do you have ones that inspire you?
I think Gillian Flynn was hugely inspirational, not with Gone Girl. I actually feel like I discovered Gillian way back in the day when nobody had heard of her and nobody had read her. Sharp Objects and Dark Places, which were her early books that I loved. I loved those. And I have to say Stephen King. Like I read Firestarter when I was like 13 or 14 secretly.
I read him when I was younger, but I haven't read. Do you still read him?
I do. I still read King.
I don't know what happened. I just can't read him anymore.
You can't? I still do. He doesn't. Yeah. His early stuff still is like, but yeah, I remember I was 13 or 14 and I grew up in like a very like strict religious, like fundamental home, and so I was always sneaking books and that I wasn't supposed to read. VC Andrews was one I remember when I found my
I loved her. Flowers in the Attic.
That was my first one, and I had to take the cover off just in case anyone found it. Love VC Andrews. But yeah, and so then Firestarter, I can't remember. I think I had found the book at a garage sale and like snuck by it at a garage sale.
Were you one of those kids that read with a flashlight under the sheets? Yes, me too. Yes. Lights out.
Yes, always. I mean, reading was my like saving grace when I was a kid, you know, and just, you know, because it took me to a world outside of the one that I was living in.
But my dad, we didn't grow up with a TV. Dad wouldn't allow one in the house.
Ooh.
And he's never owned a TV. When I took care of his estate in Ireland, still no TV. He's never had
no TV.
Well, he passed away now, but when I went to Ireland to take care of his estate, the first thing I noticed was no TV.
Wow.
No TV. Never had a TV. We had to read. And he was an author too, which is
was he really? Okay.
Yeah, which inspired.
Well, and then this is probably going to age me too, but then we also, there was a program when I was in elementary school called Book It. I don't know if anybody else on here remembers. Book It. So what it was you, if you read so many books, then you earned a free pizza at Pizza Hut. And
school? This was at
school. And I actually read so many books. It was just like winning pizzas, that it was like my second grade teacher actually called my parents and was like, is she actually reading all of these books or is she just trying to get free pizza? And my mom was like, no, she's reading the books.
Wow. We had a program similar to that in England where I grew up, but it was at the library. And you would have to reach a certain goal in the library to get, you know, like coupons around town or little prizes like that. So kind of similar. But it was called Book It.
It was called Book It. I still remember. It was called Book It. And when you were done, you got Sherry Brown remembers. Yeah, you got this little like certificate thing. And then, you brought it into Pizza Hut and you got your own free personal pan pizza. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I like that. What a great incentive.
It was, I mean, I loved it.
Yeah. And then Lisa says, when my new adult children were young, they had that. So she had a program at her library too. So there is still some programs out there, and I'm so happy to see that still a lot of physical books are out there for kids, that they're still being brought up on physical books.
Yes, my son's a reader. I mean, still he's, how
old is he?
He's 13.
Has he read your books?
No, he hasn't. It's funny. I mean, it's always been the biggest like joke that he can't read anything that I've written. And then back when I was working, I was also, whatever I was working with on my computer, whatever report it might be, he'd come close and it was always shut the laptop, the laptop,
Here's a question from Luann. Luann, I've known for many, many years. We used to live in the marina together. Now she lives up in Santa Barbara, so she's also from California.
Oh, she's also local.
She
says, the sunshine and the sky high gas prices.
I know, right? I look forward to reading your books. Which one should she start with first?
Ooh, it depends. If you want super dark and twisty, The Perfect Child is, I'd say go there. If you want not so dark and a little bit more like domestic drama, I'd say The Best of Friends.
I'm writing all these down, you know. All right, good suggestion. Can you hold that book up one more time? I'm going to read
Yes.
from the description on Amazon in a few minutes. I want to talk about the cover. Is that okay? I see the font is bright pink, but what is the silhouette? What is that?
This is a hand, and then this is a crown. This is a crown. It's a beauty pageant crown because Genevieve, the mother of Mason, is she's a former beauty pageant contestant.
Okay.
She's a former Miss Alabama that went on to be in Miss USA and was like a 6th runner-up.
Now, did you have any input with the cover?
Yes, and
good. I like that because a lot of
the cover went back 4 times until we arrived on this because the first couple of concepts I just wasn't a fan of, and that's never happened before actually, where I was like a hard no on what they brought to the table at first. But yeah, I was a hard no. Oh, I'm seeing people I know. I see Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer.
This one right, Jennifer right here.
Jennifer Bryan. Yes, right there. But yeah, so this cover was like the first time when they, because they, usually come with a couple, different concepts, and that I was a hard no on all of them and was like, they don't work. So, but once we arrived on this, I was like, and it has like, I'm a big texture person too. It has a great texture. Like you can almost pet it. Like I love how it actually feels.
That. I like that. I just like the fact that you had input because many publishers are like, here's your cover. This is it. It's final.
Yeah.
We're done.
Well, I didn't always have input. They let me have input now.
I like
but yeah,
that.
it wasn't always that way in the beginning.
Now, how long have you been with this publisher? I'm sorry. I know you said it before.
Thomas and Mercer. So I've been with them 2018, so 4 years going on 5 years.
Do you write like a book a year? Is that pretty much the standard for you?
I'm on like a 9 to 10 month release schedule, so pretty fast. This one was the longest, where I had a full year between Under Her Care and my book before. So,
and this one came out when?
Under Her Care doesn't come out till June 1st.
Oh, it's on pre-order.
It's not out yet.
Okay. All right. So June 1st.
Yes, June 1st.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to take a little pause and I'm going to read the description on Amazon.
Okay.
To give our readers, even though you did give us a background, but I do like to read the descriptions to the book. I have it right here. From the best-selling author of The Perfect Child comes a shocking thriller about the disturbing complexities of a mother's love and the deadly consequences of unraveling family secrets. On a humid summer day in Alabama, a mayor's wife turns up brutally murdered under a railroad bridge. Standing next to her body is 14-year-old Mason Hill, the autistic son of former Miss USA Genevieve Hill. The locals are quick to level their verdict on young Mason. He did it. The town detective calls in local autism expert Casey Walker to consult on the case. At first, Casey tries to keep an open mind. But the more time she spends with Genevieve, the more her unease grows. And she suspects that Genevieve is doing more than just protecting her son. Casey's misgiving surroundings, Genevieve's story only intensifies when she meets Savannah, Genevieve's 19-year-old daughter. Savannah, as it turns out, has some disturbing secrets of her own. But as Casey dives even deeper into the Hill family dynamic, her search for the truth leads to another shocking murder, one that shatters her understanding of the human condition in ways she never imagined. Ooh, it gets deep.
Yeah, it does.
When you start writing a book, like your latest one, do you have it all plotted out before you write? Are you a pantser? You just take it as it comes?
I'm a pantser, yes. So I have a general idea. And of course, like I have to write a synopsis when I, for the book to sell it, so, but it always sort of takes on a life of its own. Things always happen while I'm in it that I didn't expect or I wasn't planning. And I always, anytime I've had a couple of times when I really tried to write an outline beforehand, you know, like, and it just doesn't work for me. It just, my writing feels like I'm writing, if that makes sense. And, you know, like, cause you like the whole point, and this is just me, like as a reader, when I'm reading something, I want to forget that I'm reading, right? I want to forget.
You want to be in the story.
Yeah, I want to be in the story. I want to forget that I'm reading. And so anytime I'm writing something, and there's books that are really great books, right? And they're like beautiful and poetic, and the prose is amazing. But it has, you know, if I still know that I'm reading, it doesn't have the same experience. So whenever I have an outline, my writing just feels too much like I'm trying to write versus just telling a story.
And that I can understand, because when I'm reading, I want to know the basic of where I'm at, what town, whatever, the surroundings, but please don't go into so much detail down to the color of the leaves and the texture of the grass that I forget what the story is about.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, right? I mean, it's
beautiful.
Like beautiful.
It's
people
beautiful.
write beautiful,
but it's like stories, the plot, and I want a lot of the things for me to just picture in my mind, and not be forced what to picture. And I like when authors leave those decisions up to me and just continue on with the story. So I totally get what you're saying. And like you said, it is beautiful. I love it to a degree.
Right.
But for me, and some people love that. They love the long descriptive part of an area, an ocean, but me, no.
Yeah. So that's always what ends up happening. I feel like I'm just trying to, when I have an outline, I feel like I'm trying to be a writer versus, you know, just doing my thing and telling a story and letting it come out of me.
Yeah, and how long do you spend? I mean, you're on a year contract or a 10-month. So how long is it when you start writing, putting pen to paper or keyboard to, you know, computer, and that it actually goes off to the publisher for editing?
So I mean, now it's like I'll do a first draft in about 3 months. Probably. Yeah. So about 3 months, and then it goes to the developmental editor, and that's the developmental edit is a huge one, you know? So, but I mean, I've written a book, like, the fastest I've written a book is 3.5 weeks. I did it for, November National. I did it in November for National Novel Writing Month. And I just thought,
okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Years ago. And I was just like, I'm just going to see, you know, I mean, it wasn't a book in 3.5 weeks that I would show to anybody else to read, you know, but it was, you know, it was a rough draft, all the way through.
And I've heard of many authors that have done that in November, the NaMo.
Yeah.
And that's their next book. It gave them.
That's Appetite for Innocence. I did that for NaNoWriMo, and and it was fun. You know, and then like I was saying, like my first book, I mean, that took years to write, you know, because I rewrote it so many times and had so many eyes on it and all of that, you know, but now, now it's different.
It's not good enough. Here's one from Jennifer. I would love to see your books made into a movie or TV series. If you could pick one to be made into a movie or series. Okay, well, you can tell her in case the people that came later, which ones are.
So so The Perfect Child has been optioned and has a script attached to it. I think all of mine would work for film. Definitely Under Her Care that I just wrote. And then the other one I think that would work really well, that has sort of like a Big Little Lies feel to it, is The Best of Friends. And that's three different moms telling a story in that one after like this horrible thing happens to all of their boys. I think that one would be a great series.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I know, we're like both reading. We're like, ooh.
Brenda says, are all of your books standalone?
Yes, they're all standalone.
Do you think you'll ever write a series, or you like to stand alone?
I could definitely write a series for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Do you think any of the ones you've written might be spin-offs for a series?
Yes, it's part of the reason that that I was saying at the beginning that people criticize my books not having real solid endings. Um, and part of that is I could probably in any of my book, there's stories and characters and storylines that if I wanted to, I could continue. And I leave that option open for myself.
So is that why your books end the way they do? Because you have that in the back of your mind? Or is that just the way you like to end them?
It's just the way I like to end them. Because I just don't think that life ever wraps up in a really nice package.
That'd be nice, huh?
And I think we try to do that in books, and well, a lot of people try to do that in books, and I don't. And I like people to think about them afterwards, and I like people to sort of form their own opinions of like, wait, how did that play out, and how is this related to that, and to think about it and form their own opinions.
Yeah, I like that. Again, I like that. Renee has a good question for you. It was here. Here we go. Do you ever go to the locations where your stories take place?
No, but I will say that the majority of a lot of my books, I would say probably half of them have take place in psychiatric facilities. And so, I mean, I spent 20 plus years in psychiatric facilities, so I've sort of already been there. And then a lot of my books, they all, so this one takes place in Alabama, and I lived in Mississippi for, almost 5 years, spent a lot of, and then, the best of friends is Southern California. So a lot of, because I've lived in a lot of different places, most of my books take place near or close to places that I've already lived and been. So I'm already familiar with things there.
Do you think you'll ever write a book of a place you've never been to, or do you have maybe hopes of writings of a place that you've never been to? That would be a good
probably. And I guess if I wrote something that I'd never been to and didn't have any experience there, I probably would go.
You would go.
Spend some time there and really get to know the community and really get comfortable in the surroundings and really, just get a feel for the community. So yeah, definitely that yes.
You would travel. You would travel.
I would in that case.
Travel. And Raina has another question for you. Do any of your characters reappear in other books?
They do not. They do not. They could, but they don't.
Could. Oh, this is the same question as Joanne. Which book would you recommend for the first time?
Yeah, so I would say either The Best of Friends or The Perfect Child is where I would start.
Yeah. Well, and your books are available on all formats: Kindle, hardback, audio, or not
audio?
Yet?
Yes, all audio.
Wow. And are you currently working on your next book? Even though
I am. So I am. So I just finished the developmental edits for my book that'll be published 2023.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which is, because this publishing is always a year in advance. So you're always living. So I just finished the developmental edits on that one. And I'm currently writing.
2025?
Yeah. Exactly. I'm currently writing the synopsis for what I hope will be my 2024 book or end of 2024.
You are ahead of the game. So when you get an idea for a book, do you have it in a notepad or do you?
Yeah, so I'm old school. I always have a notebook. And even it took me a lot. So yeah, I'm always jotting down different characters, different scenes. I have different ideas, and I have plenty of stuff that could keep me going for a long time.
I love that. I had one author, she gave me a good idea that I'd never heard of before, because she says if she has a notepad, sometimes they're too big to put in her purse, or she loses it, or she forgets the pen, but she always has her phone. So she emails her ideas. When an idea pops into her head, she emails herself. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, so you're ahead of the game. You're like in the works of 2 books down the road from now.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
And I'm working, I did I actually, the end of 2020, so I guess it was September 2020, I did my first Audible original with Audible that was just, it was a novella and just available on Audible. And that was a lot of fun. And so it looks like I'm going to do, and it did pretty well. So it looks like I'm going to do a couple novellas with Audible that are just exclusive Audible in the next like year or two too. So.
Wow. Do you think you'll ever narrate one of your books? Or do you
No,
no,
I can't even listen to my own books. I can't do it. I have to have my agent listen.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
wouldn't
listen
have the
to yours?
patience, and then to buy the equipment is just a turn off for me too, because you have to have, the soundproof room, the microphone sound, everything's going to be soundproof. It's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, and I don't think I have a good voice at all. Plus, Can you listen to your own books? Do you listen to your own book? Have you listened to your own books?
My own books aren't in audio yet. I'm working.
Oh, they're not in audio yet. Okay.
I wish, but I'm working on one of them to be in audio. But I can't even hear myself like on a voicemail. I can't stand to hear my voice.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, and my voice is like low. I don't think I do well there.
I think you have a great voice. I think we all sound different, when we hear our own voices. I think you have a great voice. I do.
Thank you.
I really do. Leisha has a question for you. Come on, there we go. Where do you get your characters' names from? Do you find yourself running out of names with all these books?
Yes, I do. I do actually. So I do. I run out of names actually, and sometimes I get stuck. So I will do I'll do baby name books. I'll Google baby name books if it's like a particular setting. Again, for my last book that's in the South, it was most popular, boys' names during, born during 2010, I'll do stuff like that because I definitely, I've written a lot of books and have a lot of characters and you just,
and then you have to find a name that suits either the age of the person or where they're from, Alabama or whatever. You need to make sure, that's not necessarily a popular name, but you need to fit with.
Or I've had where I wrote one of my books. I had written it and then it went off to the developmental editor, and then I got it back and I didn't like half the names that were in it, so I changed them. I was like, they don't sound right anymore, and so I got rid of them, scrapped them all. I was like, no.
It's even down to the name. It's just tedious at times. It is. Karen wanted to ask you, away from the writing, we talked about that you are athletic.
Yes.
If you like running, running, snowboarding, outdoors.
Anything outdoors, really. I do it all.
Do you fish?
Surfing. I surf.
Do you fish?
I do fish. Yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, so my dad is a huge fisherman. So
I was a commercial fisherwoman for 10 years.
Were you really?
Yeah, I fished off of San Clemente Island. You probably know it.
Oh my goodness!
No way. For 10 years. So I don't do freshwater fishing, but I do saltwater. But
okay, wow.
That's why
so you're fisherman turned writer.
Yep, I actually wrote a book about it.
Did you? Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. But that's what. Have you been out to the island? Do you know San Clemente?
No, I haven't. I've heard of it and I'm familiar with it, but I haven't been.
How about Catalina? You been to Catalina?
Yes, I've been to Catalina.
Okay, well, it's about another 40 miles on the west end of Catalina.
Oh, okay. Catalina. I didn't realize it was that close. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So gotta go fishing.
Go right.
The reason I brought that up is Karen was asking us how you're writing. What has been your favorite vacation spot, I guess, in your entire life?
Ooh, I would say my favorite vacation spot in my entire life would probably be Pictou Island, Nova Scotia, which I don't know if anyone's ever heard of.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so it's um like way eastern like Canada. So on the eastern side of Nova Scotia, and it's a little island. And my one of my aunts actually, well, still does, but has an asparagus farm there of all things. So they grow asparagus there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we ate so much asparagus when we were there. It was not even funny. And then my brother actually went and worked on her asparagus farm for one summer. But it was absolutely gorgeous. And her house was like right on the ocean and
Oh, it sounds
right on the pier. And it was super private, very like secluded. And yeah, just the whole community. You know, I mean, like you could walk to town or bike to town, and it was just this very, you know, like small town little strip once you got there, and just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And it was the first time I'd ever sailed, you know. So it
sounds
just
like the perfect setting for a book too.
it would be a very perfect setting for a book for sure.
Mystery murder.
It might show up.
How about places that you've not been to? Is there some place that you'd love to visit in your lifetime that you haven't made it to yet?
Yeah, so I've actually never been to Paris, and I feel like as a writer, you sort of like have to, you know, sit in a coffee shop in Paris. So that's like
I have
on
been to
my
Paris for a weekend. When we lived in England, we used to take the ferry across. But I was like 16 or 17 and I got wasted and don't
and threw up on the ferry over the side.
I need to go back.
Right.
Have you been to Europe at all? Have you been to Europe?
No, I have not. But my son actually is about to go to London next week for, yeah, their school, the school that he goes to. He's about to graduate middle school. And so they take them, you know, they go to London
Oh,
for their,
exciting.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
is a
I'm
13
so
year
nervous.
old?
I'm going to be a nervous wreck, but
He's 13, right?
he's 13, yeah.
And he's the one, you only have one son.
I only have one.
So he's the 13 going to England. Wow.
Yeah,
And
just,
he'll
yeah.
stay around London, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so they stay in London, they go to Bath, they see Stone. I mean, it's like, it's an amazing trip that
How long is he
they
going to be going for?
8 days.
Oh, mom's going to go crazy.
I'm gonna be, yeah, I'm gonna be a wreck. I'm gonna be a total wreck. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself. But
And when does
yeah,
he leave?
they'll have a, you know, the school's been doing it for years. They have a great tour company, and yeah, it's incredible. And that's because they spend like their last part of 8th grade. A lot of what they like do and see out there are all things that like they've been studying, you know,
What a
this
great
year. So then they
opportunity.
go, you know, then they get to actually go see it and experience it, and they'll see a couple shows while they're, yeah. So it'll be great. He's going before me, but
That's
that's all right.
fantastic. Oh, he's going to come back with all kinds of stories. He
Oh,
might
he
even come
will.
back with a British accent.
Right? I hope so.
You know what I want to know is I want him to tell you about the food.
Okay.
What he thinks of British food.
What he thinks of the food. All right.
I mean, I lived there until I was 17, and it is very bland. I mean,
Is it? Okay.
fish and chips and steak and kidney pie and shepherd's pie. But I do hear they have McDonald's now, so.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure he'll have so many stories to tell when he gets back.
Oh,
So
I'm so happy for him. I'm jealous.
yeah,
Actually. I want to go. I've been
right?
back since. I think I went back in 2011 was the last time I went back. So I'm due for another visit. But I have a sister in England.
You
And
do.
she comes out
Okay.
here, but she hasn't been out for the past 2 or 3 years because of COVID. But
Right.
she's coming out this year in September. So it's like, why do I need to go there? She's coming here. So, yeah.
Right. And how long have you been here?
I came over here in 79.
79.
My
Okay. So
dad
wow.
moved out here, I can't remember what year, in the 70s sometimes. And then when I graduated school, then I followed him over here. And then he was here for maybe 10 years, and then he moved to Ireland.
Okay.
He's Irish. And that was where he spent his last chapter in life. But yeah, I followed him over here, and then he leaves.
He left. Sounds about, there's a book in that one too.
There's a book in that one too.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. But okay, your book. It comes out again when?
June 1st.
June 1st. It's available on pre-order right now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Let's hold that cover up one more time. We're going to be wrapping it up soon.
And I've been doing the giveaway actually. If you pre-order, well, I'm going to do a giveaway of the actual book as well, but also just I started on social media today that if you pre-order the book, you get free novella. So my Audible original, So you get that. Buy this, get that free.
Oh, you have to come into my group and post that with the details.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, do that. I'll invite you to the group to do that. But yeah, your giveaway that you're doing for this evening's chat.
Yes, that I'm doing this evening. I'm going to give 2 people this lovely book. It is an advanced review copy because it's not out yet. So you might find some typos and other little funky things in there.
I think they're the best though.
You can read it for anybody else.
Yeah, that's the raw deal. So you're going to give 2 copies away. Will they be signed?
Yes, I will sign them.
Great, and you've asked that I will pick the winner, so I'll do that for you tonight, and then within the meantime, in a couple of hours, I'll announce the winner. Yes. But I will invite you to the group, so when you get that, just go ahead and accept, and that way you can see who the winners are.
Perfect.
And I'll also put it on my author page, so it can be shared from there too. And I'm also going to be doing a giveaway, which I do on all of these chats, $5 Amazon gift card. And that is for those that share this video from my author page. If you go to my author page and you share this video and you tag me so I can see that you shared it, and then you are in the drawing for a $5 Amazon gift card. But Lucinda, this has been so much fun. I've had a lot of fun.
I agree. I loved it.
It's a lot of fun, but I'm going to give it over to you for a few seconds so you can talk to the readers and say the last words.
Well, yeah, I mean, thanks for having me. If you haven't read any of my stuff, check it out. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I just appreciate I'll let you guys ask some of the best questions. Those are great questions. I thank you for
and a lot of them do watch from my author page. If you have time, you might want to just scroll through the comments because I'm sure there's questions that I've missed. Oh, look, here's one right here from Nancy. As long as he tries Scotch eggs.
I'm telling him, Nancy.
I love Scotch eggs, and they are just really good. He has to have Scotch eggs in England.
All right, I'm telling him. It's a must. Put it on the list.
Put it on the list. There's nothing like Scotch eggs. Basically, what they are is hard-boiled eggs wrapped in pork sausage meat, then wrapped in breadcrumbs, and then deep fried. They are.
I'm a vegetarian, so the sausage
was sorry.
Through me.
You can do it with stuffing too.
But he's not, so he will probably love it.
I'm sure he will. But I'm curious to see how he likes the English food. One thing I do miss is the fish and chips. So you cannot beat English fish and chips with mushy peas.
That's what I hear. One of my dearest friends says the same thing.
Yeah, I just can't beat them. But no, this has been so much fun. I really enjoy chatting to you. And when your next book comes out, it looks like you're already on the way.
Next year, we'll see you 2023.
Yeah, get a hold of me, and I'd love to have you back, and we'll talk about that one.
Perfect. And thank you, everybody. Thank you. I loved all the questions, loved being here. And yeah, I hope everybody has a good night.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for being with me, and we will see you soon. Good night. Thank you, Lucinda.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.